What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Dreamstar Toys Load Warrior, or their version of a masterpiece scale stylized Longhaul. This is the third in a series of Constructicons from Dreamstar Toys. We looked at the first two, and they've been surprisingly good. I say surprisingly because their Superion figures were not good. I quit reviewing after the third one and never even finished it. But these have been definitely more enjoyable. Not only are they good looking, but just the quality and the overall transformation, alt modes, everything has been kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to this review. Let's take a look at this guy. He's got some really beautiful paint on him. More of this olive kind of army green. They all match, by the way. They're all the same kind of color scheme. This darker metallic purple. You got silvers. You got gunmetals. You have tampo details all throughout. Look, warning construction signs there. You got gold. I mean, there really is a lot of stuff going on these guys, and they have a lot of detail, and they look really good. Let's go over his articulation. Head is on a ball joint. Ball joint goes up to there, down to there. It does have a light up feature in the head. I haven't put the batteries in any of these. But they do look nice. It would have been nice if they had metallic red eyes on top, but that's okay. Decent looking head sculpt. Side to side and a rotation around. Shoulders on a ratchet. Rotate around on that ratchet. Out to the side on a ratchet. Butterfly joint built in. Pretty good. You have a rotation at the bicep. Double jointed elbow gets you the full bend. I don't know a lot of Longhauls that have double jointed elbows like that, so that's well done. You have a rotation at the wrist, individually articulated fingers, although the bottom three are connected together. The top one can be articulated independently, and then the thumb is on a ball joint, and it has two hinges on it. So you can get some nice articulation out of these hands. And the joints, tolerances are nice, nice and tight. Moving on to the waist. Just get the fingers out of the way. The thumb, you had to kind of like push it back into position to get it stored away. You have a waist rotation here at the lower joint. It is on a ratchet, soft ratchet. And gets you all the way around. Ab crunch right here at the midsection. It's a double jointed ab crunch, probably due to the transformation, but you could get extreme ab crunch if you wanted. Just do that extra joint there. Hip skirts on the front are on a ball joint, on a rotating hinge, so it rotates around and it flips up like this. Legs are pretty strong ratchets. That's because it's a combiner joint, but it's all the way up to there. It's pretty tight. Back to there. And then out to the side on a ratchet as well. Obviously, very, very strong ratchets. No need to worry about holding the weight. On the back, we do have this hip skirt, which kind of folds away. I just wanted to be aware that's there. So if it gets moved out of the way, just push it back down. Coming to the front, we have single jointed knee gets you 90 degrees. You have ankle tilt, and it's not quite a true ankle tilt. This piece is locked in, so you're really getting a toe tilt. It's good enough. I mean, it gets most of the foot. And then you get a forward tilt on the toe itself. And we do get some nice accessories with this guy. We get his blaster done in black plastic, silver accents here and here. And then on the back, we got a little bit of red paint. You want to fold out, it comes like this. You're going to fold out the smaller handle here. It does have a little slot there, which will fit into a peg on the hand. It's kind of a small peg, smaller than the others anyway. And it's a little difficult to get him to hold on to it. Like, I got it in there, but sometimes it gets knocked loose pretty easily just because it's a smaller peg. But that does look good. We also get the axe with translucent red blades, metallic red here on the middle. It's a 3-piece axe, so you can take it apart, but it does have a slot here on this handle. You can extend it, by the way, but I'd leave it short for this version. And that peg is the slot is a little too small because it needs a little more support. Like, I guess it goes in, but the weight of the axe is a little too much for him. So it tends to kind of fall down. So I would recommend you hold it up maybe higher on the handle, because this is just a little bit loose, but you can get in there. It's just likes to rotate. But it's a good looking axe for sure. I mean, it looks really nice. It's just the weight. And we also get the next component to the Build-A-Figure Megatron, which is the waist and thigh piece. So I guess we'll get the legs with the next one, or maybe with the last one. But here's the back. And it's very interesting what they're doing here. They're taking parts of the Megatron, and those parts become part of the combiner. So this was the one we got previously. This is the part of the chest. It makes up the chest wing. And you end up with the torso and the head and the arms. And then now we get the crotch or hip skirts. And this makes up Megatron's legs. So you're going to go ahead and open up this panel here. We'll take this. And I already showed how to transform this on a previous video, so I'm not going to show it again. But this mushroom peg will slide in there. It kind of clicks into place, and then you close that up. And now we've got partially built Megatron. And it's looking good. I mean, he's going to scale with these guys. As you can see, I mean, he's basically the same proportions as them. So yeah, that's pretty cool that you get a whole extra robot out of the combiner parts. And he looks pretty cool. There's the head. He does have the light up feature, which once again I'm not going to put the battery in. I just don't have it. But overall, it's a very good looking Megatron. You got metallic silvers, reds, purples, golds, green. I mean, it just looks very good. Backpack is a little kibbly, but that's his chest wing, so I can kind of understand. Does have an ab crunch here. You have hip skirts on a ball joint. Those go in and out to the side. The thighs are on a ball joint. The joint is a little strange the way it works. I think this is meant to lock in. Let's see. Yeah, I think this inner joint will lock in so that those hip pieces can stay put. But forward and backward, side to side. These side hip skirts obviously are Devastator's hip skirts. And then rotation at the thigh. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a decent figure. For a Build-A-Figure especially, I think it's pretty well done. And for size comparison, there he is next to the other two, Shovel Warrior and Hook Warrior. And this is turning out to be a good looking team. I think they have a nice aesthetic together, and overall the proportions and the fit of them, they just work. And for another comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime, and pretty much the same height as this Optimus, so they fit in nicely with the Masterpiece scale. Alright, now let's get this guy transformed into vehicle mode. It is a pretty involved transformation, so there's a lot of steps. I'll probably do one arm and one leg and then do the other off camera. But one thing before we get started is you do have some display options here on this backpack. You can kind of lift these up to have that look. You can also lift up these to have like kind of a flight backpack or whatever. But I chose not to do that for the robot look. But here, let's get started on the arms. So we're going to lift this up. We're going to open up this handle. You have to have the fingers folded up like this so they're inside this little notch. So you want them folded up, and the thumb should be also folded up all the way. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to fit it in here. So it fits perfectly in here if you have it folded up. Even now, I had it not perfect. So So it should go in there like that. We can come to here, open this up, and we're going to bend the elbow, rotate this around, bring this to the back here, and this is going to tab in. There's a little slot right here and a tab there. This is going to come around and tab in there. It's kind of hard to see what you're doing, but you go like that. This will accordion out, and then we can put this back down, and it should end up like this. All right, so just leave this there for now, and go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. All right, now they got both arms taken care of, we can take care of this upper body. So go ahead and open up this panel here. You're going to fold the head in, make sure it's sitting flat there. We're going to open up these chest pieces. These move together, both side chest pieces, so don't try to move one and not the other. You have to move both at the same time. So get them unpegged and then rotate it down so it moves together. Then we're going to close this back up on top of the head, and now we need to rotate the arms down. So we're going to unpeg the arms from the side here. We're going to unpeg this backpack from here, so just untab it from here. And that'll allow you to take this section, unpeg it from here, rotate it around, and then peg it back in. Same with this side, unpeg it from here, rotate it around, and peg it back in. Then you can close back up this, and that should tab in there. So here's how we're looking after getting that chest back in place. And let's take care of some of this backpack. So lift this up, we can unpeg this from here. So open up these panels, lift this up. We're going to rotate this entire thing on this hinge right here. So rotate this around so you get this on the front. And this will come down and peg into here. And you can see there's a little tab slot right there. So get that tabbed in there. And make sure our arms stay pegged into the side. Alright, then come to the top here. We're going to unpeg this panel, which makes the front of the vehicle, and open up these little tabs right here on the top. A little bit higher. These tabs right here. And then bring this down and leave this right here for now. We're going to open up this, then we can rotate, oops, and this should be pegged into the side, so make sure you get this green piece pegged in properly. There we go. Okay. Rotate the arms forward on that ratchet joint. Again, this will lift up, rotate up to the top. And you'll see there's two pegs here on the inside, so those are going to peg into the side of those arm pieces. So get that pegged in. Get this pegged in. And the arm also, there's two tabs holding the arm right here into the side of that panel. So you got to get all of that in at the same time. There we go. So it should look something like this when you're done. It's pretty secure. This panel up here will come in and peg in right there on both sides. And I'm just realizing I never untransformed this. So this should have been folded down like this. My mistake. You're just going to lift up on this little hinge, open this up, open up this panel here, bring this over, and this will fit just over the top of this. Make sure this makes its way in there. And then tab it into the top. So it should look that. Sorry about that. On the front, you're going to take this, this will peg in. So we're going to bring down this purple panel. This will peg into the top of the purple panel and kind of clip into place. Clip in up here as well. There's 2 pegs there. And then these will come to the side and tab into the front of those arm pieces. So it really locks in nicely if you've got everything correct. All right, this you could just leave it here for now. We're going to open up these panels, and these are going to peg in back here. And eventually we'll get this pegged in, but for now, just leave it forward like this. All right. Now we can take care of the legs. So lift up on these hip skirts, and the legs are pretty tricky. I'm going to do one leg and then I'll do the other one off camera. So we want to open up this panel here, open up this panel here, and just note there's a peg right here. So when you're going back to robot mode, make sure you get that peg in. That will allow you to get this to tab into here. Otherwise you'll have trouble, but undo all that and just leave this to the side for now. You can come to the leg, unpeg this from the foot. That will release this entire foot and rotate this back. This is a very tricky part of the transformation. You want to get this all the way back like this. It's not very clear in the instructions, which is what makes it tricky, but you got to rotate this ratchet forward. It's very tight. It's very hard to move, but you're rotating the ratchet, not the foot, the ratchet back here. All right, so rotate that forward. And then we can come to here, open this up. That's tabbed in right here and here. Open this up. We're going to bring this up. And we're going to take all of this, and this is going to rotate down. It's a pretty interesting transformation, but this entire section will rotate inwards, and we have to unpeg it here, sorry. This was pegged in right here. So bring this down. You can see this panel is going to end up here. Open up this little hinge joint right there. Bring this all the way up, and that wheel will sit up against this. Then you can close this to clip that into place. Down here, you're going to clip this into the back of the leg. If it doesn't clip into place, you don't have it right, so it's a little tricky. You're going to take this foot, accordion this back down so it sits like this on the back. And let's see, get this wrong. So we went a couple clicks too far on this ratchet, so bring it back a couple. So it should line up with this. It's a little tricky because it's not all the way, but all right, so let's get back to this. So get this tucked up in here. First get this panel attached there, and then get this attached down here. This is going into a slot on the bottom. So it should look like that. This can come down like this. You can open this up, just leave that there for now. This already made its way in, but there's a peg right here going into the back of the foot. And we're going to open up this panel, open that up, and this will come together. You can close up this hinge. This should come down and sit right in there, and then it'll end up also this peg going into here. But let's get the other side done first, but here's how it's looking. Actually, I forgot to tell you, this piece will sit right there. It just sits on the outside. That should be closed up. All right. So go ahead and get the other side done, and then I'll show you how to put it together. All right, so here's how we're looking after getting both legs taken care of. Now we're going to peg it all together. So there's 2 pegs here going into the knees, 2 pegs here going into the feet, and then down here there's a peg on this side going into this side. So you're going to get all of that in at the same time. Make sure you collapse this ratchet down. Here we go. And give it a nice squeeze. Make sure all those pegs made their way in. That one is it. Okay. Now we can close up these little panels right here. Tiny little detail, but it does make a difference. So that clips into there. Hopefully I've been on camera. And then these just sit on the back. Up here, if you got this incorrect, you can just fix it. This should be underneath there. And then this foot should be clipped in underneath here. All right, so here's how we're looking. Now we'll take care of this top section. So leave these side panels open. We're going to take all of this. This is going to accordion up and hinge down. So it sits like this. This is how it looks underneath. These panels will clip in to the back here. So there's a little peg right here. It's going into a slot on the side of that panel. So get that lined up and pegged in. Same on the other side. So these two panels are holding that together. The wheels should be straight. If they're not straight, they won't roll. So you'll know if they can roll, you got it straight. Come to here, we're going to bring this panel back. There's two little slots back here that these two pegs will go into. So get that clipped into there. You just have that down like that. That's how it looks on the front. Then we'll take this, bring this up. This will peg into the side right here. There's a clip and a tab. And same on this side. And on the back, make sure you got these pegs in over here. And then you can fold these in. All right, and there's Load Warrior in vehicle mode. And this is a very good looking vehicle. I really like the way it turned out. Not easy to get here, but definitely really nice detail. You got the red translucent for the window and the headlights. Black for the grille. A little bit of detail here. Purple, more red paint there. You got these up here with the caution, construction signs on it. That all looks good. A little bit of red on the front. Really good looking vehicle. I love this. It's just like the futuristic, double wheels that are inset compared to the front wheels. So it's almost like a motorcycle style. It's just as cool, the way it's done. I also like that the weapon stores. We can also store the axe handles as well. So you can take these. These will plug in right here on the side of the truck. You can just take these and plug them in. And now you got some storage for those. This is a very well thought out vehicle overall. Here's the bed. There's a lot of stuff in there, but overall it still looks good. It rolls nicely, nice rubber tires. Just a great looking vehicle overall. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. Just a massive truck. I mean, it fits really nicely in the MP scale. I love that it's really big. Alright, now let's get this guy transformed into combine mode. And it is a bit of a chore to get it there, but it does work. So let's get started. We'll start with this back section. We're pretty much going to undo everything. Open these up. We can unpeg these from here and unpeg it from the front as well, and just let that fold down. And once you have those released, we can kind of take care of all of this down here. Go ahead and fold back up these sections right here. That will release this. You can kind of bring the legs apart and release this center piece here. Just be careful with it. It's a thin piece of plastic. So bring this up. This can just sit right here for now. We'll take care of that in a minute. We can unpeg this. open up your legs, give yourself a little bit of room. Bring these panels down. And here's how we're looking. We're going to take these sections and we're going to undo the wheels. So open this up. And we can come to here. I'm going to rotate this whole section forward. Bring this up. And this is eventually going to peg into here. So just to kind of give you a sense of where we're going. But we got to bring all this down. So we're going to unpeg this and rotate this down, give yourself some room. You kind of come to the back here, open up this back panel, and this is going to rotate to the other side. Right? At the same time, we can come to the inside. We're going to open up this panel right here. This will come and flip to the back and sit right there. That releases the thigh. So you're going to bring the thigh down. It's going to sit horizontally like this. Now we can put this piece that we brought from the back to the side. And it doesn't really peg in. It kind of just sits there. At least as far as I found, there's no peg for this to peg into. All right, now we'll bring this down, bring this down. This has two little pegs on the inside. So we're going to open up those two little pegs. Like that. And like that. These two pegs will make their way into here. Slot there and a slot there on the other side. So that'll give you a sense of the position it has to end up in. And fold that over. And bring this down so it kind of sits flat. Bring this in and then make sure those two pegs make their way in. And also this clip right here, this peg right here is going into a slot on the top. There's a lot of stuff to get in. Get those in. And on this side as well. And this is tricky. This way. There we go. Almost got it. Okay, that's going to be a pain to remove, but there you go, I got it. Bring this down. This is going to clip into this. You can see there's a slot and a peg. By the way, the instructions don't explain any of this very clearly, so it is a little bit of a challenge to figure this out. That kind of solidifies that. This will come down, come over, and make sure this is pegged in right here. This will come down and peg in on the other side and make kind of a knee piece, I guess. I don't know. Bring this down. We're going to accordion the foot out on this double hinge. To rotate this foot up so it sits like this. And make sure we get everything. And I believe you want this peg on the back sitting flush. There we go. So that it's straight down. I don't have it perfectly straight down, but it should be straight down. So something like this. Then finally you're going to take this panel. There's a peg right here, so get that pegged in. Make sure it makes its way underneath this. And then this will come to the front. It's a weird fit, but it's supposed to go all the way around and clip into here. Now, I've had a little trouble with this panel. It seems a little too tight. So perhaps I have something not perfectly right. Oh, we do have to get this tabbed back into the foot as well, right here. That might help. Let's see. Yeah, this one, there we go. That clipped on now. It's a really tight clip. So I'm not sure if I have something wrong there. And then the last step is to bring down this toe piece. And obviously that's going to dangle, so I'm going to put it back for now, but that is part of the transformation. So go ahead and do the other side. Same exact thing. I'll do it off camera. I'll be right back. And before we do that, one thing I forgot to mention is you want to undo these two side tabs. You can also undo the wheels so you have space. So these should be detached. All right, now we've got the legs taken care of. We can take care of this upper section here. So we're going to unpeg this from here, rotate this up, and then peg it back in. There's two little purple pegs down here that are making their way into the sides, and that kind of holds that top part in. Okay. Then we can take the wheels, pull these forward, and that'll allow this panel to tab back in. And then we're going to bring this around to the back, and that'll sit right here, like on the back. Same with this one, bring this forward, bring this back, and have that sit on its backpack. All right, this can just sit right here. And we'll take care of all of this. So this panel here, we're going to lift up on these, rotate them around, and they'll just sit like this. Decorative piece there. This entire piece will rotate around. We're going to come to the bottom here, open up this piece. 3 pegs are going to 3 slots on his butt. So bring this over, and it'll sit right over the tires here. And make sure you have these purple pegs in, because that's kind of holding it in place as well. So we'll get these in. So here's how we're looking on the back. And now we'll take care of this front section here. And we're going to undo this, so pull down on the purple piece, unpeg these. You might need a spudger. It's a pretty tight tab here on the front. And this one as well. And then now that you got those out, you can lift up this panel. You're just going to have to get it past here. And this will lift up. You can fold these clips back in, and then this will sit right up here. There's 2 slots and 2 pegs. So bring this all the way back, get this out of the way, and this will sit right here. This peg right here is going to end up connecting to hook, which we're not going to do today, but I just wanted to show you that. That'll hook up to hook. Bring that up, and then we have to kind of undo a little bit here. So we can lift up on these. You're going to lift out on the arms, and I recommend maybe you just undo this bottom clip here, which gives you enough space to get both of these 2 pegs on the inside out. And what you're trying to do is bring down this chest piece, and they come down, like I said before, in one piece. You have to get the whole thing down together. It's a little tricky, but get this piece down. And then once you do that, you can put all this back in. Easier said than done. Get this back in, get that back in. And then we're going to open up these panels right here. These will clip onto here. So get those pegged in, and then you can put everything back the way it was. So here's how we're looking after taking care of that. Now we can attach some of the armor pieces, his waist and his crotch. So let's bring those in. Here's that crotch piece from earlier. So for this, we're going to fold these out, come to the bottom here, we're going to open up this bottom hip skirt, open this up, extend these out. That's how it looks from the front. come to the bottom, we're going to open up these thigh pieces. And then these are going to rotate in. There's a little clip that is clipping in on the inside of the thigh. So you're going to get these squeezed all the way together, and they actually tab together underneath. And then these thighs end up being like part of the crotch skirt, which I found interesting. This is an interesting way to do this. I haven't really seen anything like this before, actually. So bring this up. And get this up like this. And then this is going to come to the bottom and cover up right here. So there's a peg right here. It's going into a slot right here. So get that in first. And it's a pretty nice tight fit. These will just sit right there. Hip skirts and this little ab piece here. Come to the back. These two legs that we put down here are going to tab in underneath the crotch. So get those pegged in. Those should sit nice and flat underneath. Alright, there's Load Warrior in combined mode. And this thing is going to be a monster. Just a beast. You can see just the thighs alone are huge. On the actual combined mode, you'd have this down. But in order to set it down flat, I had to put that up. But here's the back. It does have styling. I mean, these are here simply for looks. They're not there for anything else. So it just has all sorts of details and styling on it. Really good looking. Now there will be a chest plate right here, so let's bring that in. I'll just show you. This is from a previous figure, but these two pegs, these slots will fit on these two pegs, and there's two pegs on the side. They'll fit into slots here, so I can give you a sense of how it's going to look. Let's get those plugged in. Get these tabbed in here. And now we've got his chest plate on there, and this is just amazing looking. I just love the way it looks overall. Really quite beautiful. Now obviously hook is going to go here. I'm not going to do the combined mode yet. We're going to do that at the end when we get all the figures. But I did want to get him into at least the combined mode for this particular figure, but that really does look good. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Fans Toys Ethereon, their version of Superion, and you could see this is going to be a big guy. I'm out of range here on my background, but yeah, this is going to be a huge combiner. Just based on the hip skirts and the legs alone, it will definitely match up with figures of this size. So final recommendations on the Dreamstar Toys Load Warrior. This is a pretty good figure. I'm going to give this a 4 to 5. I'll recommend it. I do think this is my least favorite of the 3 so far, but it's still a really good figure. So that should say something about this set. They're doing a great job on the design. On this particular figure, a couple of the weaknesses, in my opinion, are the weapons don't tab in all that well. The tab is pretty small on the hands, especially the axe. The axe is just a little too heavy for him to hold. It looks nice, but it's just a little heavy. The gun goes in nicely, but it gets knocked out loose. But other than that, I mean, it's a really nice figure. I like the look in vehicle mode, in robot mode, and in combined mode. There's a little bit of tightness here on this joint on the heel that causes some frustration, but otherwise, it's just a great figure. They're doing a great job on this set. I'm excited to see how this turns out. Now, we have 4 more figures to go, unfortunately. If you count Megatron, that's 5. We've got 3 more Constructicons, and then we've got the Prowl figure, and then we've got the final completion parts for Megatron. So it's a big set. I've been holding on to this for a little while. I feel bad. Shout out to Brian W. for allowing me to hold on to this for so long. But it is turning out to be a great set so far. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Brian W. And we'll see you next time.